St Paul's Cathedral is delighted this year to be a founding partner of Just Water. It's an opportunity for cathedrals and churches around the world to focus on water and its necessity to life, but also at the moment the danger it's bringing to life because of climate injustice. As part of our contribution to the conversation that Just Water has begun, we asked the artist, Pablo Genovés, to create some works to put in the cathedral that will both disturb us but also excite us into action over the importance of water and life in our world. Pablo, this is an exciting day as the works come into the cathedral. Were you excited by the commission? Why did you take it up?
Well, I think it really fits my work. I've been working with cathedrals and with ancient and monumental places for these last 10 years, and for me it's like the ideal place to do a site-specific work in such a place, as an amazing cathedral. So I think it really fits, my work really fits here, especially thinking that the river is so close and the river is there as a constant threat, I would say. You got these tides here, a bit further down. Those tides were built in the 80s, right? I think it's like that. And they were during the 80s and the 90s, they were used once a year, more or less. And now these last years, they are being used in almost a month. You can have in the internet a look, and you could see. So the river there is kind of a constant reminder that the situation for all of us, humans in Earth, is something very. We are in a crucial moment, I would say. So I think we are in time to go back to and think what the way we are getting together with nature, together with us as humans in the earth. And my work is about that. So the cathedral as a place of shelter, yes, as a place of help, as a place of reminds as well, reminds people the way they behave in life.
And a lot of your previous work has been based in Baroque buildings. And this is far from Baroque. This is very classical, very light. Did this have new challenges for you?
My idea about the important buildings is not if they are Baroque or not. I am thinking from the moments in the human history in which knowledge and high expectations about ourselves are put into a building. So in different places of history, for me it's not a problem. I think they all have this sense of what I wanted to contrast against the destruction, the water, the end of all that. So I don't think it's that important in which time of the history they are done. But I always have been looking for this type of important buildings that humans had done, and all that, what they meant for humans.
Now, I think when people come in here, there are going to be two things in their mind. The first is, what are the works depicting? And if you could just briefly tell us about the four that come in. Okay. The other question, which we can come back to, is how's he done it? How are they working these collages? So just tell us about the four pieces that are in.
Yeah. I've been coming to the cathedral many times, and at the beginning I thought about doing all flats, no? So it's 4 of them, and they were going to be all flats. And then I thought that I needed one of them to be out of the water. Mm-hmm. So then I came to the idea that was at the very end of my time I was working in the cathedral. And so I thought it was important to look a bit here to look up. So then I did this, the one of the cupola, and then the rest is this thing of the river I was saying. No, is this flat. The technical size is I normally work with appropriation, so I look for images because I'm very keen in finding the energy of all images, and those energies got the background and the energy from the past, and that's very important that the relation with them is direct. Finally, I managed to find two same pictures taken in the 20s, and I mixed them in one, so you could see in that painting behind. And then I needed a bit wider view, so I took that myself with analogical photography. So there is a mixture of two old 20s pictures and a bit more that is invented. But then I realized that the cathedral has been having many changes, physical changes. So I discovered that I was having electricity. That was a big difference. I was having another color for the walls. The cathedral probably was clean. So then I have to darken the ones I did myself. But I left the electricity side. I could have taken, because with Photoshop you can paint. You are almost painting. But then I said, oh, this unifies the whole idea of my work. That is how we talk about history, how we tell the history, that half of it is invented. So all these processes to look to the past that humans have, for me were in that picture together. So it was false history, real history, and my future, not desired, my future warning of what could happen in our society, in our great conquest of our culture. So,
and by being in St. Paul's, obviously people come at it with a spiritual interest, with a theological interest. To the Christian, water has two overviews. The first is that it's chaos, it's destructive. It can flood the earth, and Noah comes along with his ark. But also, of course, in the Christian tradition, it's the place of new birth, of hope, of baptism. Do you find your works here ultimately worrying or hopeful?
That's something, I think, a piece of art, for myself, I think a piece of art should be open as much as possible, so the viewer put himself into the work. I don't want to... nowadays, artists are asked to tell the meaning of the picture, to explain the picture with words, but maybe it could be old school, but I want... we artists are like kind of people a bit outside of the society, with the anthems on, and telling the others what we feel more than what we think. When you talk, you think. You have processed your message, and for me, image is something different. It's something that comes from your subconscious, I would say. I still believe in the power of subconscious for artists. So we artists, visual artists, are offering people something that, for me, is not to be with words. It's feelings, and the feelings sometimes are much more strong than words. Yes. Words are always tricky, yes. But an image, and that image, it has happened to me. Some people have said very weird things like, I got a divorce and then I bought one of your pictures because it meant that moment in my life. So divorce. So I want it to be really open. Water is life, is everything. We are water. Water is so important. That's why I've been choosing water as the main the main element in my work. No? Always like thinking in a kind of more not obvious meaning. could be.
Well, I mean, at St Paul's, we're delighted and disturbed by having these, and I think we need both at the moment. And so for that, from us and from all the people who are going to be looking at them over the next weeks, thank you so much.
I thank the church to do such an invitation. It was great for the cathedral. You really make me really happy having this here.
Thank you.
Yeah.